and I can't say this enough, to have had this man as my dad. He was magical. And the fact that I kept so many of the letters that he'd written me when I was at camp or in school, and I'm so grateful I had those letters, because what was left behind is not everybody has that, and I know what a gift. I'm repeating myself, but I can't say it enough.
It is absolutely a total gift. And, the fact that you just open up about it in the way that you do, I think is such a beautiful thing. Not everybody gets a chance to do that, but I also think that in a way that it's a gift when you see and you hear these stories, when people open their hearts to you about what your father meant and continues to mean to them, and how your father tackled really interesting topics about life and everything, religion, politics, just talked about how we got along, about our childhoods, about seeking a life that's better than the life that we're living now, or wanting to create the perfect person, or dealing with, elements of nature and the far out into the galaxy, all the different things that he sprinkled in. And there's so many elements of all of these fabulous episodes that are so true to form. No matter what decade it is we're watching the Twilight Zone in, and his writings, we can apply a particular episode to things we're living through even today, right?
Yeah, it's pretty stunning. That the things that he wrote about are still so relevant and sadly prevalent. But I think, a lot of that, of course, is because he dealt with the human condition, and times change, but people don't. So here we are. And he would be deeply saddened initially about that, and then apoplectic.
I don't doubt. I can only imagine, what he would be writing now about just everything going on in our world and the craziness of it. Definitely, there's a lot of material for the Twilight Zone and for Night Gallery as well. Growing up in upstate New York, what's really beautiful for folks who don't know this, the area where he grew up really pays homage to him in such a beautiful way. There is, of course, the Rod Serling Memorial Foundation, which you're deeply involved in, but there are things within the area that pay tribute to him and to his life, which I think is fantastic. The creation of the Rod Serling Memorial Foundation, and of course, we'll talk about the beautiful statue that was unveiled as well. Tell us about the importance of this wonderful foundation, because there might be people watching who know all about the Twilight Zone Night Gallery, and it's the usual things that they talk about, but they don't know about this fantastic foundation that really preserves everything about him.
Yeah, the foundation was actually started by some high school friends of my dad's and his beloved teacher, Helen Foley, years ago, I think in the early 80s. Andy Pollock was the first president of the foundation. And it's just something that my dad would be so stunned by. Actually, my father would be stunned that he's even remembered, and remembered so fondly. But it's a wonderful tribute to my dad, as is the statue that you referenced that was just erected this summer.
How special is that, huh? Look at that beautiful statue, and of course with the door.
Yeah. And there's also a program in Binghamton called The Fifth Dimension, where the fifth graders watch episodes of the Twilight Zone, and they learn about scapegoating and mob mentality and isolationism and racism. And it's a program that I think my dad would have felt was his greatest accolade, that they're learning from these shows.